subscribe and ring the bell to never miss an update. Hallo und willkommen im Trödelcenter in Überherrn. Das ist ein Paradies für Haushaltswaren, Geschenkideen und viel mehr. Hello everyone. Today on Lady Mary Bath, I'm excited to take you back to the Trödelcenter, located in my husband's home state of the Saarland. They have all kinds of great items from the mid-century, anything for house and home, and great gifts. Join me. It's a beautiful day at the Trödelcenter. They have the big door open. Lots to discover here. It is truly a treasure hunt. We're going to see some great collections and learn a bit of history, some of these wonderful pieces. And you definitely want to look high and low. You may miss something. There's just a lot to see in this store. And I love blue and white. This is a collection that someone has acquired lovingly over the years. Some of these are referred to as colonial pieces. You will notice that the attire is a bit of a period piece. And I will share ways that you can incorporate just a few of these into your decor. I can't imagine the cabinets they must have had to display these. Even clocks and lots of different back stamps. The largest collection of blue and white figurines that I've ever seen. These have a Baroque and Rococo influence, ladies and gentlemen, and there are ways that you could incorporate these into your everyday, perhaps under a cloche to add some interest, create a story, part of a centerpiece, or a decorative object. And they start at about €6. These all came from one collector. Special Römergläser here in the case. These are from 1880. They're priced at €85, and they have prints. And I'll tell you more about that when we see some other glasses. And the beautiful cut to clear. These are most likely Val Saint Lambert from Belgium. Absolutely incredible at €45. And this is a beautiful example of Murano glass with a seahorse. It is quite delicate. And if you've been to the island of Murano, you know that these are very expensive. And a very special pedestal urn vase, €120. I get lots of questions on the value of the dollar versus the euro. I know it can be very confusing. And it's about $1.10 for each euro. And because sales tax is always included in the price, you could almost say it is 1-to-1. Lots of glass items, crystal. Can't wait to show you some of these special pieces. It's an area that I usually go to first when I'm in the store. Lots of tabletop essentials. And remember to look up, you might find the perfect seating. Es ist wie eine Kristallerie hier. Man kann tolle Vasen, Schüssel, Kompottschalen und viel mehr finden. I like to call this the crystal shop. There's lots to discover. I find great gifts in this section, anything from decanters to vases, candle holders, and compotes. A nice selection of crystal decanters. You can serve out of these, but you would not want to store liquids over a period of time. These are lovely bud vases, and you may think they are champagne flutes, but look at that short stem, and that's how we know they are meant for florals, and it balances the table nicely. €8 for this covered crystal candy dish. That's about $8.80, made by Nachtmann, and they made the same piece with a Gorham crystal label. A German punch bowl. You see a spot for the ladle. €48, a little over $50, and this would be for a warm punch. Similar to our Hobstar design, €16 would be about $18, a great deal on this vase. Hier gibt es viel Auswahl mit Vasen. Ich war letzte Woche da und habe eine ganz tolle Pressglasvase gekauft. Habe ich als Geschenk benutzt. They have a beautiful selection of crystal vases. This is the Schleuderstern, which is definitely a European design and well priced at 16 euros. Lots of great vases here, including the pink glass, which I'll talk about in just a moment. It's nice to keep these on hand. Bells are highly collectible and easy to pack in your suitcase or your carry-on. Crystal candle holders in every shape and size. And lots of serving pieces, many possibilities with these. Villeroy and Boch crystal candle holders. You may remember a recent trip to MAM Resale where I found a trio of these for a very good price. This is, of course, a recognized brand here in the Saarland with the factory just up the road. They don't make these anymore, and this is a great opportunity to add some beautiful crystal to your tableware. These candlesticks can also be mixed and matched for an interesting look. They have a double candle holder as well. And vote is for €1. And this is an item I know many of you would love to add to your collection. I wish I could have packed it in my suitcase for you. Another great find with Hofbauer birds. This is a highly collectible design made by the Hofbauer Crystal Company of West Germany. And of course, that dates it a bit. In the 1970s and 80s, this was a very successful export for the American market, sold at department stores such as JCPenney's and Houston's own Foley's. Priced at 14 euros, this covered dish has so many possibilities. This is a great deal at €2.50. That's about $2.75 on the Hofbauer bird dish. I've shared lots of history at St. Christopher's Episcopal Resale in Houston. I encourage you to take a look at that segment. A gorgeous basket. Germany is calling. You're probably most familiar with the Hofbauer birds with the ruby flashing. They also made clear. These are 24% lead crystal, hand-cut and polished. Beautiful basket and a well-priced dish for €2.50. A gorgeous mid-century footed centerpiece for 25 euros and a vintage glass basket. These pressed glass vases are great examples of the mid-century. This peachy pink color is something you find at flea markets often, and I believe these were made in France. We have a large collection at our home here in Germany that my father-in-law acquired. And this amber basket without a handle is so sweet. I see lots of possibilities. 28 euros, great examples of mid-century artistry. And even more to discover on this shelf. The Ruby Beauty has my attention. I'm taking home one vase today, and that is a tough decision. It is my birth month, and this is my birthstone for July. At 12 euros, hard to pass that up. That's about $13 or $14. Mitterteich, Bavaria. It is fine porcelain. This is another strong contender. I like this hand-painted vase. I can see many possibilities. Love the pink and green, and of course all that great information on the back stamp, Kaiser Porzellan. And this is 16 euros, which is about $18. Eine wunderschöne handbemalte Vase von Kaiser Porzellan. This beautiful hand-painted vase has a back stamp telling us a bit of the history, West Germany, Kaiser Porzellan, and it also has the artist's information on the back. There is such detail in this piece with the beautiful peonies, and you could certainly fill this affordably at a local grocer in Germany. Those flowers are very affordable. If this tea set could talk, I am delighted to share a bit of history of this lovely set. The gold, the detailing. I'm sure this was enjoyed by a hostess and her guests, but it goes beyond the frilly teacup and saucer. We look to the back stamp for a bit of information to better understand the impact that this manufacturer made in Europe. There is so much to discover. An exquisite china pattern and coffee service for 10. If we turn it over and look at the back stamp, which serves as a roadmap to the history of a piece, we can unlock some great information about the manufacturer. I'll tell you more about it. The applied back stamp gives us lots of information. We see E. Bourgeois in Paris and also Marseille, and Grand Dépôt. I will tell you about the history and how this person changed tabletop in France. The history of this tea service will make you want to go back in time. Émile Bourgeois was born in 1832 in Normandy. At age 16, he moved to Paris to work in a china shop. And in 1856, he was off to London to work as a salesman for the Stoke-on-Trent potteries. At age 30, he came back to Paris, where he opened his own store, Le Grand Dépôt, in Paris, later expanding to Marseille. And he advertised his business as the largest house of crystal dessert and table services. Émile Bourgeois introduced Parisians to fine English ceramics, and he sold items in his store made to his specifications. It must have been a dream to shop at Le Grand Dépôt. This is a furniture piece that I wish I had purchased. I wasn't thinking about a need that we have in our upstairs library. For $65, that's a little over $70 US. You've got great storage. You could even use it for a printer and for storing your printer paper. It could be adaptable and placed in any room of your house. It's a mid-century time capsule with this brass mantel clock and the Nussbaumholz furniture. You will notice that they had darker woods in mid-century Germany compared to in the United States. For 65 euros, this is great storage, would be perfect in an entryway. It's time for a brass beauty for the buffet or mantel. From Imperial, it's priced at 260 euros, which is about $300 US. A floor vase, custom made, one of a kind, made by V&B for a man who was with the Mettlach Volunteer Fire Department for 40 years. And of course, that's the same town as the headquarters for Villeroy und Boch. And there's that Mercury back stamp. Definitely an older piece. Eine ganz große Bodenvase von der Mettlacher Abtei. This floor vase features the Abbey in Mettlach, and if we turn it around, we see that this was actually a service award that was gifted to someone for many years of service. His name is incorporated, and that is the benefit of working for a big company like Villeroy and Boch, where they can produce this for you. Lots of affordable furniture pieces here. They do have customers that come over regularly from France and fill trucks full. In fact, they even bring buses full of customers. Whether or not they're reselling or buying for their homes, they find great deals here at the Trödelcenter. And that's something to think about. You could even have a container shipped overseas. Lots of great detailing in this piece. And the price is right. Where can you get a piece of quality furniture for about $500? You often find intricately carved Henri deux cabinets in this part of Germany because we do border France. This is priced at $480, which is a little over $500. And in the United States, you would pay probably $2,000 for a cabinet like this. It has great storage, and you can tell that it definitely lasts for generations. Great design, so many different elements incorporated there. This would be a wonderful addition to your space. My favorite color combination, cobalt and gold. I also have that in my logo. 140 euros for this decorative hand-painted porcelain pitcher. And it is from Czechoslovakia with lots going on that back stamp. Cobalt cut to clear, 120 euros for the vase, and I think I should have looked at these glasses that are 8 euros each. Those are truly a steal. It's a statement piece with a vase. A cut-to-clear cobalt vase. This was a practice used primarily by American and European glass manufacturers, where a clear blank was made and then it was coated in a color, for example, this cobalt, and skilled artisans would use cutting wheels to create these intricate designs revealing the clear surrounded by the cobalt. This vase is priced at 120 euros. I see a hidden gem here. A crystal candle holder is perfect for any table and decor, makes the perfect gift. And here you have an added element. Priced at 35 euros, about 38 US dollars. This vintage crystal triple candle holder is a very fair price at 35 euros because you get bonus items. These crystal prisms can be added to any candle holders that you have. These were at least 10 euros each back in the 1990s, sold in Mettler by Villeroy & Boch. I have these in silver and gold, and I think that might have to come home with me. And I did get distracted and forgot to take it home, but that's fine. I have lots of pretty candelabras. These are catch-alls. You could place these on a desk, and they do have some crazing inside, especially on this one, so you wouldn't want to store food unless it's a prepackaged snack. And I'll tell you more about the history. This has an interesting color combination with that pink, gray, and yellow. Definitely Art Deco. Here's a look at the back stamp just to give you an idea, a series of numbers. 1930s Art Deco covered boxes. So many uses for these. They were made by Steingutfabrik Kolditz, which was a company known for creating stoneware for home and kitchen. They were later state-run because they were in East Germany in 1949, taken over by the German Democratic Republic. And it's nice that we still have these wonderful pieces from the 1930s to enjoy. A tall vase that could be considered a Bodenvase, 25 euros, which is about $28 or so. And remember, tax is already included in the price. Alboth und Kaiser ist ein deutscher Porzellanhersteller, wurde im Jahr 1872 von August Alboth gegründet. We know that this predates 1970 because it has that Alboth Kaiser backstamp, and after 1970 it was simply Kaiser Porzellan. This vase is well priced at 25 euros and has an interesting history, a company founded in Coburg, Germany in 1872. Sensational stemware at an affordable price. You can find a shape and size glass for just about any beverage that you might serve. And they have an incredible assortment of Rhine wines with the green stems and cobalt, emerald, amber, cut to clear. I have many in my cabinets that I've purchased here over the years. Just love the green stem, very classic look. Millefiori, and some of my very favorite glasses. No surprise, Villeroy & Boch in the Arabelle pattern. And these are especially nice for 3 euros. And 4 euros for the Hock wines. Can you imagine cut crystal being so affordable? Some fantastic stemware, including the Villeroy & Boch Connoisseur pattern that is actually cut here on the bowl, and a green-stemmed wine. These can be used for desserts, many different uses, and at 4 euros, that is a good deal. This Theresienthal glass from Bavaria is a nod to an earlier time with that Prundt-style stem, which is a blob of glass attached to another piece of glass for decorative purposes. These saucer champagnes are fantastic. The Arabelle pattern from Villeroy & Boch, 4 euros each is an incredible deal. That's about $4.40 for serving bubbly in that old world vessel. Even a scoop of ice cream with an Eiswaffel for dessert, chocolate mousse. The classic Arabelle pattern from V&B mixes very well with Connoisseur. We have both of these that we use on our table for dinner service. Anything from a coupe champagne, brandy snifter, sherry to schnapps. These are well priced from 2 to 4 euros. And these would have retailed for probably at least $30 to $40 each back in the day. Fantastic finds. Wildrose from Villeroy & Boch, that always reminds me of Desert Rose. Some great serving platters, including that Zagemün. And collector's plates, they have lots of those. Of course, B&B is in the area and they make them for just about every organization and village. And the Petite Fleur, which is one that lends itself to so many different looks and colors. This is a modern coupe bowl. And the price is right. These relish dishes are 12 euros. It's about $13. And that's much more affordable than shopping retail. And most of these are sold as a Kaffeegedeck, which is a cup and saucer and dessert plate for the coffee hour. And you see them all taped together, ready to go. Very organized and efficient in this store. And the Alt Strasbourg that you saw at the Titti International store recently. I love those square serving dishes. I have that shape in Burgenland as well. 12 euros. And let's look at that back stamp. Alt Strasbourg, West Germany, of course, dates it to pre-1990. Many more plates. This one caught my eye because it looks quite historical. Let's take a closer look. See that transferware? And we'll look at the back stamp. One of the earliest transfer pieces from Villeroy & Boch. It has a very unique back stamp that I'd not seen before, and I did some research. This is a piece that is shown in a museum here in Germany. It was made in 1860. It's priced at 45 euros, and I think that's an interesting find. You could spend all day looking at these beautiful dish patterns. And of course, you could add a serving piece, just this pink and white cake plate. That looks to be Bavarian. And if you like this pattern, you could set a table for 30 for coffee. You would be all set. Let's look at this rim soup for 8 euros. And we see that it is a Messemuster, which is from their market. For their retailers when they shop. It is not meant for resale. And here is the correct back stamp, Phoenix Blau or Phoenix Blue, vitrified porcelain, Vitroporzellan. A very prolific pattern that you see often when I showcase German flea markets, consignment shops, and resale stores. It is hand painted. And one that's very familiar to me because my husband's grandmother had some pieces. And the price is right. Tolles Geschirr und ganz viele Muster von V&B. It's a world of dishes here with many of the patterns from nearby Villeroy & Boch. And I want to show you a collectible from the 1980s. This is something my husband's grandmother had, and we've also incorporated into our home. It is called Bon, which is French for peacock. It's very unique, made from a copper engraving, an intricate bird motif with a light green background. That's not something you see too often. And this is a very good price, 10 euros. You can find these affordably at flea markets and consignment shops. And here's more of that Phoenix Blau. And a very modern look that might remind you of jewelry that ties in with the pattern name. Price at 28 euros. Made in May 1991. This is a special cup that was designed by Villeroy & Boch from a pattern called Bijou, designed by Paloma Picasso, a French designer and businesswoman, the daughter of the artist Pablo Picasso. She's known for designing jewelry for Tiffany & Company and had a signature perfume. She developed many different patterns for crystal tableware and cutlery for Villeroy & Boch in 1987. Lots of detail, and I remember these pieces well. Lots to discover here, including a vintage glass plate with a ruffled edge. This catches my eye because my mother-in-law has two different sizes that are identical, except for they are opalescent around the rim. Priced at $24. This is a very old plate. And she also displays it, just as this is, on an easel. And she pulls them and presents them on the table when she needs it for some pastries. This soft pink vintage glass pitcher has my attention. That's one that I probably should have taken home. Picture perfect with this vintage glass vessel. A hard to find item in Europe. They don't serve many iced drinks as we do in the South. I've looked even in retail stores and I struggled to find them. Priced at 32 euros. This is a beautiful piece. Blue and white is a classic look. I like to think of it as a neutral because it goes with just about any color. And I do like those doilies. I should have taken a closer look. Hutchenreiter, Germany, which is of course a top brand with a history of porcelain making. What a fantastic store. I have so enjoyed all the treasures that we found today. Glad you joined me. Ich finde immer schöne Sachen im Trödelcenter. Danke, dass Sie mitgekommen sind. Had such fun today treasure hunting at the Trödelcenter in Überherrn, taking home this beautiful ruby vase, great example of fine German porcelain, Qualitätsporzellan. Thanks again for joining Lady Mary Beth. Elevate your everyday with resale shopping.